implementation of our syllabus for Adult English A, which is an ESL class, and we are going to discuss how the class we're taking has provided us with the tools to help us succeed as adult educators. Adult English A serves as an introduction for adult English learners. In our course, students will be provided with the resources and skills needed, which will be built upon in future studies of the English language. After completing Adult English A, students will be able to ask questions for basic needs, such as where's the bathroom, and be able to respond to those answers. Furthermore, students will be able to engage in introductory conversations, whether they be verbal or written. Students will be able to write with the correct grammar and verbally communicate in various tenses. Lastly, students will be introduced to various prefixes and suffixes to develop a meaning for unfamiliar words. The format of this class will be online and serves as a typical 16-week course. Office hours are incredibly important for online courses, so the office hours for this course are Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. or by email. So this is a description of the required textbook for this class. This textbook will be used to develop the necessary knowledge for the online discussions, dialogue chats, and audio assignments. For the online discussions, students must post each week in the discussion module for the appropriate week. Each discussion post helps students practice their written English skills and their grammar skills. Students must also respond to one other student's post, which serves as a proper response for typical life. Students will be placed into Skype groups or dialogue chats. These students will be provided with various prompts or topics to practice their verbal communication skills. As long as students complete this assignment for the appropriate week, they're able to choose when works best for them for the scheduling. The audio assignments are required per module. This requires a 1-minute audio clip regarding a prompt or question that is posed to them. This pushes students to practice their English pronunciations and sounds that are associated with the English language. The facilitator will provide timely feedback to assist in their learning. So now we're going to discuss how our syllabus design benefits various types of learners. Audio or auditory learners perform best when listening to information, which can be audio recordings, lectures, or videos. And visual learners perform best by seeing information, which can be through videos, PowerPoint presentations, photos, or text. Language learners prefer to learn information through visual or auditory cues, such as written or audio books, lectures, and or presentations. The dialogue chats, videos, and auditory recordings will benefit learners to a large degree. This occurs when learners use their own and other classmates' dialogue chats to practice their English skills. And they will also be listening to other classmates' recordings and provide a conversation. And this will help organize their various speech sounds that they will be developing throughout the semester. The online discussions and readings will assist in their writing and grammar skills, and this emphasizes typical real-world conversations, which will help deepen their knowledge in English. This will permit students to practice visually seeing the words, which will assist in their basic understanding of words and sentence structures. And then the dialogue chats will also allow students to practice speaking and writing in English. This will push students who practice daily conversations that can be used in their daily lives as English speakers. So now we're going to be discussing the 5 phases of learning and how this course highlights each learning style. First is the modeling phase. This occurs when the educator completes the necessary skills and requirements that is asked of the learners. In this course, English will be spoken across Skype for the students to hear. Second is the scaffolding phase. This occurs when students attempt to perform the necessary tasks while the facilitator observes and provides feedback. In this course, students record their conversations so the facilitator can hear their current skills and provide suggestions to better their skills. Third is the fading phase. This is when the learner uses their skills in real-life situations. In this course, students speak English in a real situation, which involves using Skype or phone conversations with the classmate. Fourth involves a solo performance. In this course, the student speaks English to the educator using an audio performance. And then fifth is the reflection phase, which is when the facilitator and the student discuss what was learned by the activity. In this course, specifically, the facilitator provides feedback after an audio assessment. So now we are going to discuss the assignments and readings associated with this course. So in week 1, students are expected to read through the syllabus. In week 2, a half-page reflection on week 2 is due. This enhances the writing skills aspect of this course. After, an audio assignment is due, which enhances the verbal skills. Then week 4, there's a test that will be open for 1 week. And then week 5, a family tree worksheet is due. Week 6 is a worksheet that helps learners order and describe food. And then the following week, another audio recording is due. And then there's another test the following week. In week 9, students develop skills of describing themselves and creating an online dating profile. This should be a fun activity for them to do. And then in week 10, students have a one-on-one conversation via Skype that builds upon everyday verbiage and vocabulary. And then the following week, another test opens with Thanksgiving break to follow. Then they have a reflection paper based on a nearby article that they need to read, with them creating a news article the following week, so those kind of tie together. And then their last week, they have a final exam period. And this test covers reading, writing, and verbal English skills. So now we will discuss how this course allowed us to make educated decisions to create this course. It is incredibly important to understand the learning styles of the students so that the optimal amount of learning can be reached. This course delved into many different learning styles, which included the completion of online discussions, reading and audio assignments, and students must have these skills to build upon their knowledge of the English language. One idea that we learned from our class with Dr. Chang was Kolb's learning styles. Our group thought that Kolb's idea of a learning styles cycle particularly applied to the adult learner category. This cycle started with concrete experience, then observations and reflections, then generalizations and abstractions, then applying and testing what you have learned. Kolb's learning styles also broke down the types of learners as accommodator, diverger, assimilator, and converger. We thought that these styles reflected the attitudes and learning cycles of an adult student in particular. The theory review assignment was an opportunity to do research on learning styles, a subject of high interest for our group. The literature we reviewed provided an excellent opportunity to compare and contrast the different views on learning and the impact of different learning styles. We also noticed some commonalities among the readings. There was a lot of information about the different learning styles advocated by various individuals, such as Kolb, Dunn and Curry, to name a few. There was also a lot of varying opinions about whether learning styles were important for students or not. The syllabus assignment was a great way to put this information together and create a product that actually used learning styles. Working with a group on this provided an opportunity to see what it takes to complete a project for adult learners firsthand. After we decided on what type of class we were going to have, we had to integrate various aspects of learning styles into the plan for the class. And it was clear that there was a lot to be considered when planning a class. You must have an organizational plan in place. From looking at the other group syllabi, it can be seen that the syllabus design can be a valuable selling point for a program. The online discussions, group projects, and the course in general was an excellent course to take for understanding the adult learner. The group project was very useful because it demonstrates how an adult learner operates when given a group assignment. And then the syllabus assignments that we looked at had some good ideas on organization and content, and this is useful because we all have had to come up with a similar document at one time or another. And then the online discussions were interesting and provided a snapshot of how other students related the discussed topics to real life. We really do not have an opportunity for real face-to-face content in an online course, but the discussion boards help provide that contact with other students and the instructor. And it was a good experience, good learning experience to be able to work with different students on the group projects. In our collaboration, it can be seen that we had some different ideas about how this could work. And this was a good practice in what is needed to finish a group project successfully, whether in a work or school environment. And it was also a good experience to learn about and use the various activities using technology. After taking this course, we learned how to create and post a self-video, use Blogger, and create a shared Google document. We also learned about the variety of resources that are out there to help teachers and learners through the video clips and PowerPoints we looked at. The projects we did really helped with understanding and applications of learning styles. The theory reviews that we did helped nail down the basic theory behind various versions of learning styles. And there is a lot of information out there about learning styles, and it helps to look at literature about this and then try to summarize it. Since we also looked at the blogs of other groups, which included environment and learning context, brain and learning, and relationships and learning, we were able to include learning about those ideas also. The syllabus we did was good practice in being able to include these ideas in something we would actually be able to use in the work or class environment. And it's harder to actually try to create something with a group that will actually be used in the real world. But since our group was learning styles, we wanted to implement some of the things we learned in the class we designed. And this required a review of the theories and how certain aspects of that could be applied to learning activities and assessments for our adult students. And it is really easy to look at a theory and say that you understand it, but it's much more difficult to apply this to a concrete project. The different types of learning resources in the weekly discussions were very useful. The written resource of the text was useful to have a basic guideline of the theories we discussed, and the diagrams helped with understanding the various cycles and theories. The videos that were presented for each theory was very useful also. And for example, when we were discussing relationships and learning, there were videos that helped explain the pros and cons of relational learning. And there were PowerPoints and audio files to help review the topics as well as present the various theories. There were also direct links to resources on the web and videos showing how that particular theory could be used in the classroom. The variety really helped with understanding and being able to apply the theories presented. Sometimes it's much easier to understand a concept when you can see it applied in a real situation or a classroom, and of course this to address the various learning styles that we learned about in our group. This is an excellent class about adult learners and theories of learning, and we were able to use multiple formats to learn about and show that we have learned about the theories. The discussion boards were interesting and provided some contact with the other students. Perhaps another application activity such as a lesson plan spotlighting adult learners could have been added. And it would have been useful to have more information about Blogger and how to set it up with illustrations or editing and so forth. For future students, I would suggest taking the time to review the information in all of the blogs, including the theory reviews. This really helped with understanding the topics. We've really enjoyed taking this class, and we have found it to be extremely useful as we become adult educators. Thank you.